Hello, I'm Craig D'Souza. I'm the CEO of the Creative Industry Association, and today I bring you the lovely Toni from Wild Spider Designs. She's a member and a fabulous member and a fabulous lady. Toni, hello and welcome. I hope you're well.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Toni, for the audience, tell us all about you. What do you do? What's your product? How you got started? All the fun stuff.
Right, so I am from Wild Spider Designs, and I came up with the idea of sticky roll. And so I was a crafter for many years, and I had this lovely little idea which I pretty much kept to myself. And then one day I thought, will other crafters like this? And I managed to get in touch with a lovely young man called Craig, who put me in touch with, said, why don't you do this thing we're running called the Crafty Dragons? So I did that, and thankfully a lovely gentleman called Toni worked at Ideal Shopping, which is Create and Craft. He said, we really love your product and we'd like to introduce it into our stock. And yeah, the story goes from there, really. So that's 4.5 years ago.
Wow. Well, no, I remember you coming. You're very timid. Was that the time you're pregnant as well and trying to catch the last train?
Yeah.
I think it was, where were we? We were in Coventry, I think, weren't we? I think
we were in Coventry.
Way back then. Yeah, that's right.
Waving at the train driver, don't go.
That's right. We were running across the railway bridge, trying to stop him, taking you in your bags and everything else. But that was, I mean, saying it 4 years ago. Seems like a lifetime ago. But from those and kind of, I remember you coming with just a couple of rolls from that kind of concept to now. I mean, obviously over the last 4 years, there's been successes and failures and everything else. Has that adapted now? What are the ranges that you have?
So I've extended the rolls range. So we're now doing a precision roll, which is a version of sticky roll, but it's got a temporary surface. And then we've moved on to stampers roll and transfer roll, which have different applications to do with stamping, but they still work all within the sticky roll range as well. So that's really good. And then we've also expanded into things like stencils and all the other sort of things that you can use with sticky roll and all the other products. So, and we're working on the range all the time. So we're looking at different ways to extend that range and to bring lots of other, it's more about bringing products to crafters that they can do something different with. And they can use what they already own in a better way and in a more creative way, which seems to be working well.
I absolutely love that, because I think it's again, you've got your core product that you started with, but actually, you know, you've kind of listened to the advice of right, what's next? Let's move on. This is doing well. Let me now get something else out. Let me get something else out. And you always seem to be evolving, which is really, really good. Obviously, it's difficult to do that and maintain sometimes, but it's good that you're doing those sorts of things. So without giving too many secrets away and stuff like that, are there plans to extend the range even further still?
Yes, there are. And there's also plans to extend what I'm teaching people in the realms of using the products that they've already got from us. So instead of, because one of the biggest moans I get is from people, not even a moan really, is that they're like, I haven't even got it out of the bag yet, or, oh, I use it for this, but I didn't realize I could do all of that with it. So I really want to educate people. Again, it's about helping them get the most out of the products that they've brought.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you're very successful and you've got your own office and warehouse, and you've got the 15 people working behind you doing all the admin and the product development and design. Is that about right for an
oh
entrepreneur
yes,
like
that's
yourself?
a huge team of one.
And I think this is the thing, isn't it? I get this quite a lot where people always say, you know, you're doing really well, you're launching these ranges, you're doing this, you're doing that, and it's perceived that there's a lot of people behind you. but actually, you know, you've retained control over it, and you're doing it all yourself, as well as managing a small family. Now, every time I see you, I always get nervous because every time I see you, you're either heavily pregnant or with another child in your arms. So I believe you have 2 children at
I
the
have
moment.
2.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
stopping there.
That's good. Fantastic. But you are on your own, and you are doing it generally not all by yourself, but you are generally the main lady that does it all, aren't you now?
Yeah, I am. I was very lucky in that my dad has been at a bit of a loose end. He sort of took a bit of semi-retirement. So over the last sort of 6 months, he's been helping out a lot at the warehouse, which has just been invaluable because obviously I've had to be at home with the children because the eldest isn't at school. And so, yeah, I couldn't have done it without my dad of late. But yeah, I think we're all in the same boat really, aren't we? If you've got children or family members that you're needing to care for, then you're just fitting in your work around them. So for most of us, that means working till midnight, and then in the day you're doing your family part. But yes,
that's right. I think it's a case of just doing what you can when you can, and just letting everything go and not stressing yourself out too much as best as you can, if that works for you, which is
yeah,
good.
just giving yourself
So,
some grace really, because you know you can't do everything and you can't
and
please
that's
everyone.
interesting. Oh my God, I'm so pleased to hear you say that, and also your mindset has changed from, without being detrimental or horrible, from the Toni, the young Toni that I met 4 years ago, that was timid and shy and had all these grand plans, but wasn't too sure and was gonna take, kind of do everything. But it's nice to hear that you seem to not have mellowed, but have a plan in place, and now kind of almost like a structure, dare I say, a structure. Has that, obviously that's developed over the last 4 years, 5 years even, and has that come with successes and failures of stuff that you've done over the last 4 years?
Definitely. After, because I was working as well to start with, as alongside the business. And then after I had baby number 2, I had realised at that point that I could not have a job and a business and 2 children. That's just been a bit silly. Some people are amazing and they can do that, but I am unfortunately not one of those people. So I decided that I wanted to focus on what my passion was, which was the business rather than my job. So I decided to not go back after maternity leave. And yeah, that's been a very steep learning curve. But yeah, a lot of I have learned that I definitely need a plan. I definitely need focus because I'm a bit multi-passionate, as you know. And yeah, and yeah, some of it hasn't worked as well as I've thought, but I think you need to have things not work in order to realize what does and what you need to do better and what isn't going to work again.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And just for the audience at home, baby number 2 isn't actually called baby number 2. Baby number 2 does have a name, and also baby number 1 has a name as well. It's not thing 1 and thing 2. No, that's
yes.
But also, obviously with COVID and the pandemic, are you finding life balance better or worse? Obviously, you mentioned about working till late in the evening, like everybody else is doing, and stuff like that. Has that life balance changed for you? I mean, and for the good or bad?
It's hard to say. I think in some ways it's been a little bit easier because I haven't had the school run. But I've just swapped one thing for another. So instead of having the school runs and nursery runs, and I still have my youngest, Cody. I still have him 2 days a week. And so, yeah, life has changed, but I wouldn't say it's become easier because of lockdown. Definitely not. And I think instead of, whereas me and my husband were talking about this last night, instead of having some gap in between where you're socializing or you are taking yourself away from the home environment or from your work environment. I think most of us have literally only got home environment and work environment at the moment. And if you're working at home, it's home and work environment. So you never get away from that. And no one's getting those little treats or that time to themselves that they would give themselves in normal days.
Yeah, that is, you're absolutely right. And I think it's very important though to, still keep your traditions of a weekend if you can, of switching off and just taking a break, taking a breather, taking a step back. Like I've always said to anybody in business, it's really important to take a day out just to breathe, or even if it's to make notes, but get away from screen time, get away from your phones, so that you can kind of then just be you again, because we're going to burn out. But ultimately also what is great is that, if you're surviving and doing well and launching new products and maintaining your business, even if you're not growing it, maintaining it. If you can maintain that now, then in 2022, when it goes, everybody's out, then you're going to be far better. So I think it is still important to make sure that you're finding those times to just take a break if you can. I know it's easy for me to say, but you've got to be able to try to do that if you can do. So what's been, obviously, it's been very difficult for everybody over the last 12 months. What's been your biggest challenge and how have you overcome that?
I think biggest challenge is definitely being able to, this is going to sound awful, get away from being the main childcare provider, because obviously my husband has been not obviously, but you don't know, but my husband has been working. He's been at work this lockdown especially, so he's been doing what he can to help, but the main childcare is on me. So trying to do that and the business, that has definitely been the most difficult part of it. And yeah, again, thanks to my dad, I have managed to overcome that.
Yeah, it must be very difficult just having to switch off, the mum and then boss of a business, especially in the same kind of confinement. It must be very, very difficult to do. So I really don't envy you there, and I'm sure you just is it just a case of taking it day by day and
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Well, like I say, hopefully there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it looks like it's daylight rather than another train coming in our direction. So for the people that are watching and listening, is there ways that they can get involved with you or buy from you? What is the process?
So yeah, my website is wildspiderdesigns.com, and I'm also on Facebook. Yes, and those ways really can email me.
Fantastic. And all the links, if you watch it, all the links will be at the end of the video and in the comments below if you'd like to get in contact with Toni. Toni, my last question for you are words of intent. I'm asking all professionals and all industry people about what their words are for 2001 that they want to hang their hat on or achieve. So mine's are challenge. I want to challenge myself and challenge the association. Challenge to be a better version of myself. But I also want to inspire people to be better versions of themselves, be better at their business and make sure that their businesses are inspiring others. So those are my two words, challenge and inspire. What would yours be?
For me personally, definitely focus. Focus on one thing at a time. And uncomfortable action. Because I think unless we push ourselves, yes, uncomfortable action. So you might not like the thought of doing it, or it might make you feel uncomfortable, like doing lives on Facebook or putting yourself out onto YouTube or social media or things like that. But it's going to be beneficial to you. It's going to be beneficial to the business, and uncomfortable action.
Well, I think uncomfortable actions. You did that 4 years ago. I know how very, very nervous you were 4 years ago coming in and having to coach you to get into Creative Dragons and meet these people. But ultimately, that uncomfortable action, that one moment that you had, led to where you are today. And obviously, again, there's trials. There's always been trials and tribulations. There's always been successes and failures. But you're kind of doing it. You're on the right path, which is fantastic. And I think you've smashed focus without a shadow of a doubt. Again, knowing you for a number of years, it's great to see that you're kind of able to focus and even plan. My gosh, I didn't realize plan was in your vocabulary, but it seems to be fantastic now. So I think that's testament to you, and also testament to anybody that's watching that with all those uncomfortable actions and focus, you can do amazing things, and that's great for you. So I honestly believe you're doing amazingly well, and I think you should be congratulating yourself and very proud of what you've achieved. And I'm looking forward to just physically seeing you physically, and obviously see what else comes up for this year. So yeah, so I mean, are there any last words that you'd like to say to anyone?
I don't think so. Just have a bit of grace for yourself and carry on.
Carry on, carry on, carry on. Well, Toni, I thank you so much for your time and taking the time out of your busy day, hectic schedule to do this interview for us. I wish you every success for 21. No doubt we will speak again soon. But for now, I thank you and say goodbye.
Oh, thank you very much. Bye-bye.